Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore from Film Threat, and you are watching Hollywood on the Rocks on a Monday. Today on the show, I will be joined very shortly by one Alan Ng, who is not short. He's actually taller than me. We're going to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie, plus the latest episode of The Mandalorian. I think we're going to go over some of these recent trailer releases. There have been quite a few. And at the end of the show, we have director Alex Lehmann joining us. He made a film called Acidman, starring Thomas Hayden Church. He will be here at the end of the show. If you're on the West Coast, that's 2:50 p.m. About the last 10 minutes of the show. A lot to talk about, including Alan's failed April Fool's joke. Yes, Alan made an April Fool's joke. It failed colossally in spectacular fashion, and we're going to talk all about it. Plus your chat, comments, and questions. Let's get right to it. It's Hollywood on the Rocks. Alan,
I think it went great.
I
I
disagree.
would not call it a failure whatsoever.
I disagree about your. Here's why I disagree. Well, first of all, we should tell people where it came from. But before we do that, we're going to get to your Alan's April Fool's joke. Do we have a little banner for that? Do we have a background for it?
Well, I have the actual headline in the banner there.
Okay, well we'll share screen when we get to that point. But let's a couple of things. Yesterday, Alan and I were talking about how we're both just behind on work. I'm doing like 3 full-time jobs right now. In effect, I've got Film Threat is my nearly legit day job. Then YouTube takes a lot of time planning this stuff and executing. And then additionally, I'm trying to get one movie released, okay, and then another movie finished so that I can take it to film festivals. So yesterday I was in an all-day edit session with I don't know if he wants his name known, so I'm gonna hold off on the name of my friend. Let's just say Mike. Okay, my friend Mike, who cut the most amazing trailer for Attack of the Doc. We're gonna premiere it on Monday. I can't wait for you all to see it. So it was all day in that. The trailer turned out great. I'm so happy. I go out to celebrate. I have a couple drinks. I go not gonna lie, I went a little drunk shopping at TJ Maxx. And I wake up this morning and I'm so excited. I'm like, I can't wait for coffee. I can't wait for coffee. And then I realized I don't have any cream. So I'm like, I'm so tired. I don't want to go to the store to get cream. I opened my fridge and I forgot completely that I had gone to Trader Joe's and I did pick up cream on the way home. This is the rock star life of me, folks, is getting a little sauced at happy hour, celebrating that we completed a trailer that I think is a good trailer. And then I woke up thinking I had no cream. Then I'm living the life. I'm living the life, folks. And I'm excited to spend my afternoon with all of you. Let's see who's in the chat here. Let's see. Solomon Thornton says, last weekend was fun. Saw WrestleMania. It had its highs and lows. Well, there you go. Leo says, hello, FT Nation. Leo, also, by the way, when you look on the community tab and you see a lot of crazy graphics, guess who does those? Leo Cody. You know what? When you see like some of the crazy videos, mostly of Alan. Alan is Alan's very memeable, I think. I think that's the thing.
It's his beautiful face.
It is. It's Leo Cody does a lot of these videos. So thank you, Leo, for that video. Wait, there's a video I see someone posted. I don't even know what this is. Do we dare play it? Yeah, we're going to play it for the people who tune in early. For the people who
don't have that Gavin McInnes moment, I guess.
Let's just do it. There's a video that's actually in there. It was probably put in there by our producer, Glanuccio. What is this video?
69. 69. 69. 69. 96. Let's go. $69.
Okay.
That's really good. I like that.
That's really good. That was Glanuccio did that. Oh my God. That's great. We'll have to play it.
I've actually performed there once, but that was a long time ago.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll play it again. People were complaining on our Instagram that I play videos a little too much. So I'm gonna hold back. Okay, that's your complaint. I won't repeatedly play funny videos of Alan. I'll play them sparingly. Yeah. But I will play that one more time because
unlike Disney, we actually listen to our fans.
Yes, we do. I like look, let's, give the people what they want here. John Manaling says, looking forward to the Mario review, seeing it on Sunday. Okay. Thank you, John. Brock Sampson, I just saw Mario and I snuck into Air before I left. I'm watching it now while I listen to the stream on my headphones, says Brock Sampson. Really? You're like listening to the stream, but you're in a movie? Yeah. You can watch us later. Watch us on the replay. Don't worry about it, Brock. No worries.
Yeah, I think Brock mentioned he was slipping over to see a certain interview on another channel.
Oh, interesting. Jericho Leon says, hi, everyone. The Nerd Far Away says, hey, friends. Sup, says Mario Ruiz. Rebel Dragon says, let's roll. Horror Punk says, hail, Chris, Alan, and chat. Hail, Horror Punk. Good to see you. Spidey Sensei 72. Heard Lizzo was on the latest episode of The Mandalorian, so I know ahead of time I can skip this one. Davina Duckworth says, good afternoon. Tony Bauer says, Alan failed to pull off a prank. I'm gobsmacked. Imperfect says, DEI policy dictates that Alan fail upwards. All right, fine. We'll stick to that. Defeater Eater says, I love Alan. I don't care if his jokes didn't land.
I believe it landed. It landed spectacularly.
Well, we have video proof. We're actually, you know what? We should go to the video. We're going to do that. Before we talk about Super Mario, I want to talk about Alan's joke. Alan is very videogenic, says David Glenn. Wes Ray, nice. Any thoughts on the Pope's Exorcist? Russell Crowe is a guest on Critical Drinkers VIP Lounge today. Very surprising move from Sony's marketing. Do you know why Russell Crowe is currently on Critical Drinkers stream on that show?
Why?
Because I connected my old friend, Jeff Katz, who's a producer on that show, reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to get Russell Crowe on Film Threat, Nerdrotic, and Critical Drinker. Do you have contact information for Critical Drinker? So yes, I do. Here's Critical Drinker's Gmail address. Love to chat with you about getting Russell Crowe on the Film Threat podcast. And then my friend, Jeff Katz, doesn't have Russell Crowe on Film Threat. So now Russell Crowe is doing Drinker. I don't know if I'm going to get a shout out on Drinker's show at all.
Is he going to be on Neurotic?
You know what? I did. You know what? Buddy asked me for a favor. I did a favor. I did a solid. I made an intro to Gary from Nerdrotic. Made an intro to Critical Drinker from my friend Jeff Katz. And guess who got boned? You're watching him live on YouTube. This happens to me all the time. Is people in the industry will ask me for favors, and then they just I'm just a rung on the ladder. So until Jeff Katz makes good on that, and it's also Jeff Katz, not Sony marketing. Jeff Katz, one of the producers on that, convinced the Sony marketing people that they should broaden how they market their films and start talking to some of the key YouTubers, not the traditional ones that do junket crap, but people like Drinker, Nerdrotic, and maybe a little Film Threat every once in a while. That's okay. We have the director of Acidman coming on at the end of the show, which will be a much more interesting conversation than what's happening currently.
You don't have to dance around political issues or his personal life.
That's Wes Ray. Wes Ray, I'm giving you the truthful behind the scenes. That's how all that went down. And Drinker, hey, Drinker's, I love Drinker doing his thing, whatever. Yeah. But
it's not his fault.
Jeff Katz, who asked me for contact info, make the intro. Do you know those guys? Like, I know those guys. I'm on their shows. Yet again, Film Threat. I'm having a frustrating day today. Here's another thing that happened. When I was at TJ Maxx, I got a brand new cast iron skillet, little mini one. I'm like, I'm gonna do a manly thing today. I'm gonna cook myself a pork chop. And I cooked myself a pork chop and burned the shit out of it. And guess what I did? I ate it. I ate the burned pork chop. Cold Seaman for $4.99 says, Alan, please don't stop 69ing.
Yeah, not if my wife has anything to say about it.
What did you say again?
Nothing. Didn't say
anything. Now you're all coy. Demi Moore's tapeworm for $4.99 says, just popping my head out to say hello. Thank you. First of all, Demi Moore's tapeworm, we appreciate you. Oh, by the way, we're doing a really cool giveaway at the end of the show today.
Is it G.I. Jane? Are we giving
It's not G.I. Jane. No, it's not.
No codes for G.I. Jane.
No codes for G.I. Jane. I'll show you what it is. If you are a member of the show, if you're a member of the Film Threat YouTube channel, at the end of the show, you have to follow the instructions carefully. We're doing giveaways to our members. If you're a member, we're giving away a digital code. You'll get all 3 of these movies. The Maltese Falcon, Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman, which is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all 3 great movies. And Rebel Without a Cause. The 4K Ultra HD comes out on April 18th. Digital copies are available now. And we have 5 codes to give away only to our members. I got a pro tip for you. Follow the instructions carefully. It's a very simple thing, but a lot of people don't follow the instructions. Sometimes the instructions are as simple as send us your address, and then people email us, and then they don't send us their address. It's like, you need to follow. I'm taking the first 5 people we do this kind of math here. The first 5 people to correctly follow the instructions win those digital codes. That's a pretty cool prize.
Yeah.
That is a pretty cool prize.
Now, I guess we should say happy birthday, Warner Brothers. This is their 100th anniversary.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Imperfect says we love Film Threat. Thank you, Demi Moore's tapeworm. The Nerd Far Away says, did you put oil in the skillet to season it before using it the first time? Do that. Okay. No.
Yeah, you need to do that.
But you know what? All the oil I have is like out of date. I'm like, whatever.
Well, perfect.
First of all, there's tons of fat on this pork chop. So I'm like, well, the fat is oil. It's organic.
But by seasoning it with oil, it makes your skillet non-stick.
What kind of oil do I need?
Like olive oil. Don't do vegetable oil. Do olive oil, avocado oil, something like that.
All right, I'll see if I have any that.
You just kind of rub it down and then you put it in the oven and kind of, season it that way.
Clip that. What Alan just said. John Juan Raytheon says, to heck with Russell Crowe. We got Alan. Well, look, I would have loved Russell Crowe too, but my friend Jeff Katz is the one who blew it. I'm calling out Jeff Katz for dude, bro. Come on, man. You got to you said, hey, I want to have Russell Crowe on your show. And I was a little bait and switch. Hey, I didn't want Russell Crowe on Film Threat.
No, I wanted Critical Drinker.
All I wanted was you to connect me with Critical Drinker. Now, Hollywood people do that shit all the time to me. And I'm fine with it. It's cool. But he was really specific. I want to get Russell Crowe on Film Threat, Nerdrotic, and Critical Drinker. Hasn't happened. Or Bacon Fat, says Mike MC Wong. You know what? Yeah. I'll do Bacon Fat this weekend. I'm going to season it.
Just cook up some bacon on that skillet.
Yeah, and then I just want to season it with something. I don't know that I trust a lot of this stuff. I'm trying to eat more, just not stuff that's in a box, something out of a box or prepackaged. I'm just trying to stay away from stuff like that. But let's get to Alan's.
Successful.
Well, there's debate about this.
But I will say, my personal feeling, best work I've done.
Where there's going to be, you know what? I'm going to let everyone.
Yeah, I'll set up a poll even.
It's better to let the chat decide. Let's let the chat decide. So
I'll get a poll set up, right?
All right, here we go. Get a poll set up, but let's go. Alan Ng pulled off an April Fool's prank, or did he? Alan, pull up the tweet that began your, I'm going to say, attempt at an April Fool's trick. Just let's see.
Yeah, there we go.
Show it to all of us. No, that's not the tweet. That's the article. There's a tweet. That was the thing. The tweet is the thing that let's check out this tweet.
Okay, hold on.
And you know what? Maybe I should bring that up. Let me bring it up. You bring up the tweet. I'm going to bring up.
Yeah, I got it right here. I got it.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So this past weekend was April Fool's on Saturday, April 1st. A lot of crazy news stories came out. And Alan, he asked me before if he could do a story on the site in our news section. It's dated April 1st. It says exclusive: Jenna Ortega and Simu Liu cast in Disney's live action The Princess and the Frog. Now, what's weird about it is that it seems real. We've seen so many terrible, including an announcement, was it yesterday or the day before? The Rock announced that they're doing a live action remake of Moana only 7 years after the animated movie came out.
Because it's so dated. That's right.
It's so, okay. So, but here's my issue with it is that this is so believable. And it's also even believable that Alan would say something like, another damn Disney live action remake. Why? Why? So let's share the story on the site that Alan did. I'm going to share that real quick. That's the tweet. Here's the story. It looks like a professional news story.
Yep.
Here it is. It's by
very proud of the way this is formatted.
It's simple. In fact, but what did you use? Did you use like Chat GPT to write?
I did use Chat GPT I use it to essentially give me a professional looking press release. And then I added some of the more incendiary things to it.
Okay, let's get into it. Disney has officially announced the casting of Jenna Ortega and Simu Liu in the upcoming live-action adaptation of the beloved classic Princess and the Frog, based on the Brothers Grimm tale, The Frog Prince. To bring this classic into the modern era, the film is set to be directed by Jon Favreau, who previously directed Disney's The Lion King and The Jungle Book. All of this is written, as I'm reading this, and why don't we put a link to this in the chat?
Okay, I can do
and
that.
In the description of this episode. As I'm reading this, I'm looking, this just seems like standard issue. It does look like a press release. And it even quotes Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman is quoted. The ChatGPT actually put Kevin Feige in there. And so I kind of had to fix that. Well, okay. So this brings up a couple of questions. One, all this stuff with, all this stuff with Chat GPT being used to write news. And then secondly, there was a person who was completely fooled by this. 100% fooled. And that person was Alan. I believe you're referring to the Latino slant, our friend Pauly. Right. So he was so excited by this news. I think he texted me and he's like, what's going on? He's like, bro, this is crazy. And I'm like, well, yeah. And then I got to share screen with this. I'm going to get past the ad here, but, so he was so excited. He had you on his live stream. Yeah. Well, he called us out. He called you and me out. And, did he? I decided to take the challenge. Should we show it? Sure. All right. I'm going to share. I'll share right now. And I want to know if people, here's the problem with this is that it's believable simply because this is happening so often. it's happening so often that this is a completely 100% believable thing that would happen. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can just we'll just get the video on there. All right, I'm going to play this, a little bit of this.
This is not an April Fool's joke. Oh wait, is it?
Yeah, I kept posting on his live stream that this is not a joke. This is absolutely real.
Before we begin, please, you know what to do. If you haven't done it already, subscribe, comment.
All right, I'm going to get past that.
In Lady.
Yeah, get to where I show up.
Disney's
Where are
live
you?
Keep going.
He's all about any Jenna Ortega news. Anytime there's like Jenna Ortega, he's like on it.
I'm the blue beetle. He's got some pretty.
He's
good
like
not.
Blue Beetle channel. Where are you?
This is an exclusive.
Okay.
By the way, I'm at my parents' house.
You're attacking my. Why would we lie to?
Okay, I'm gonna get right to where you came on, and then I want.
This is an outrage. Wait, what is going on here? Alan Neek from the Film Threat. What is going on? Did you just punk me?
Real. It's absolutely real. I can't reveal my sources. I'm friend to secrecy. This is journalistic privilege. So, of course, why would we lie to our fans and our audience like this?
Okay, I just can't. There's no way I can verify this. It's not on the news.
Wow. You're attacking my journalistic integrity.
Well,
that's very big of you, Paulie, there.
Yeah, kind of, because it's like, what exclusive does Film Threat ever get? First of all, let's be real.
First of all, because that's exactly it. Exclusive means that's why the other film.
Well, let me think. We don't really do a lot of news or gossipy stuff, so I can see. But like Alan, your delivery of it's absolutely real. I mean, look, I know your improv comedy skills are. You've got the improv comedy skill chops. I've seen you, whatever. Yeah. But the acting. Yeah,
I will tell you exactly what's going on here. Part of me is like, does Paulie really believe this is real, or I'm trying to suss out whether
he didn't believe, and you didn't convince him. All right, we'll watch just a few more.
Yeah, because I did. Oh man, I was a little conflicted.
News outlets don't have this story.
It would already be. Let me look up. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go that this is an exclusive. That this is really happening, Alan.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, please do.
You know what your tell is, Alan? You smile. Whenever you smile when you're lying, you're lying.
I know.
Look at this. You're
Jon Favreau directing this? I mean, where does he have time to direct this
film? What? He's probably done the best live action Disney movie of them all in Jungle Book. I mean, what greater choice than that? And to tell this story in a modern era and cast two fine diversity actors, I think. I mean, this is brilliance.
Yeah, that's like
all right. You know what? We gotta end this bit. This is like, Alan, you're not.
By the way, I was able to plug our live stream during this bit.
Well, that's good. Yeah. At least one good thing came out of it. All right, but come on.
I honestly, it was like, is he serious or is he playing along? And and when I realized, he's being serious, I'm like, how hard do I hit this in terms of making it as real as possible? And so I'm kind of skating that line between, it's a joke, but I'm just going to keep playing the game here.
All right. Well, let's go to the comments here. John Manaling, loving your wardrobes, Alan.
Yeah, I was at my mother's. My mother passed away. I was helping my dad kind of clear out her stuff, and that's where I was.
Let's see. Winters Soldier says Film Threat does not get exclusive. Shots fired. Paulie's simping for Ortega, says Imperfect. Spidey Sensei says, and he wore his good hat too. Poor Paulie, says Lord Thoth. But Paulie is an Ortega simp. And let's see. Pilgrim Media for 2 says, Chris, why didn't Paulie comment on the Blue Beetle thing? He actually did, didn't he?
Oh, he has. He's commented a lot.
He has
on it.
commented on Blue Beetle. So there you go. Someone also says, why is your font Comic Sans? Says John Manilang.
Yeah. It's actually a special font for Chrome called Dyslexie, and it helps me read.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the straight
Simple
answer. And a quick $2 super chat from Matthew Hammond says, what makes Air better than Tetris? We will address that question on Friday once I've seen Tetris. I did specifically re-upped my Apple Plus subscription. It's not very expensive, just to watch this movie. And then I put a notification in my phone for when to unsubscribe. So we're going to talk about Tetris on Friday.
Yeah,
which I'm very excited about. But Alan, I will say, I think the ruling is that this was a fail.
Well,
that's going to be my ruling.
Well, I put up a poll on the Film
What's
Threat
the
Live
poll?
cast.
What's the poll at right now?
The poll is at 61% a hit, 38% miss.
There you go.
Yeah, and if a few more people mark it as a hit, it will get to that magic number.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
just saying.
We'll see. Let's go. We're gonna pivot. You know what? That's what we're gonna do. A couple more quick comments though. Sean Lassich says, after this is over, the Critical Drinker dropped his interview with Russell Crowe for those who might be interested. Yes, I know. I was ranting about it. Yeah, it's a premiere. It's not a live stream, says Davina Duckworth. I feel somewhat responsible for helping make that happen. Yeah, Pilgrim Media says, I'm talking about Batman as a fascist. Let me talk about that line in the Blue Beetle trailer. I am told by someone who has seen the Blue Beetle movie in a test screening that George Lopez's character is a conspiracy theorist. And he says wild and crazy things. And so it's within his character to say something crazy like, Batman is a fascist. It's within character for George Lopez to say that in the movie. It feels out of context in the trailer, which is why everyone's sort of up in arms about it. But I am assured that it's in context in the film, and it's a very funny line, and that George Lopez is very good in the movie. And then Patrick Lemire says, grapeseed oil is best for seasoning. The end.
Yeah, that's probably the best one. That's a higher smoke point.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just have to go with that. All right, let's get into it. This will be a non-spoiler review of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Alan and I have both seen the film. I have no idea what Alan thinks. Okay. I have no idea what Alan thinks of the movie. I'm very curious. I saw it at a critics only screening on Monday, which is not always the best situation to see a film. It wasn't particularly crowded. It was critics only. And the audience reacted mildly, people laughing. That's sort of expected at a critic screening. I prefer always to see a movie with a paying crowd. There is a big difference. Okay. Alan saw the screening yesterday at a packed, what they call all media, where people were allowed to bring their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Before I give you my opinion, I want to know, Alan, what did you think of the Super Mario Brothers movie? And you should probably qualify it with how familiar you are with the games, the history, etc.
Well, I mean, my experience with the games is very early on. Played a hell of a lot of Donkey Kong in high school. Played a lot of Super Mario game. My experience is basically the arcade. And whenever it came out, I played those games. I never owned a Nintendo. Actually owned one once, but so I've been a fan. But in terms of the most recent stuff, I'm not that in tune with it. But regarding the movie itself, very, very mediocre. I feel like I'm just repeating myself for these last few movies we've seen, but it's okay, but I was just not blown away by it.
Why?
You know,
Why?
why? Because
there's a divide right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up Rotten Tomatoes. But what?
that's
I mean, I'm
yeah.
just going to. Okay. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's just, you know what it is? It's just a straightforward narrative. They do this, they do that, they do that, they do that, and then it all ends. It's kind of like there's not a lot of chance to breathe. I guess this is an attempt to create the Mario Brother world, which I don't think we really know about. But it was just like, it just got, we're just not, I just didn't feel like it gave us a chance to kind of let us bathe in this new world that's being created. Because right away you see, the moment the movie starts, you see the Mario Brother world, and then it's attacked. And that's kind of the way the state of that world is throughout the entire film. There's this constant threat of the attack from Bowser, and and so I don't know. It was just so focused on the narrative that a lot of the lore was lost. I will say this: when after the movie went to the restroom, and people who were at that screening, they were loving it because there's so many Easter eggs in it, Easter eggs that I didn't know about, and you could tell that the people who are way into this world will probably have much more enjoyment with this movie than the average person.
Gotcha. Well, look, I'm trying to bring up the Rotten Tomatoes score for Mario. It's like I'm getting the spinning wheel. It's just
Okay, let me see if I can do it.
See if you could bring it up. But the last I saw, it was in the high 90% for audience, and it was 44%, if I recall correctly, for the critic score. And I've watched a couple of people who have done reviews of it so far, and I'm in the camp of, and by the way, I love the Mario movies. Sorry, the Mario games. Played the old school ones on the NES, the SNES. Probably my favorite of all the Mario games, and I finished it. I was so, I just love that, was Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. They literally designed a controller to play one game, which was that game. Everything about that game, from the music to the 3D world to translating a hoppy jumpy side-scrolling video game into a 3D world and have it be logical, to defeating the bosses and the puzzles and all the secrets, whenever you found one of those stars, was so fun. And I've played like Super Mario Galaxy and other Super Mario games. I think that the Mario Kart games, that's a different kind of game, in my opinion. And that's a fun group game. That's not a game you can play yourself. Super Mario Kart is a group fun game, playing online, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it's a race party game, basically.
Race party game, and it's awesome. Can't critique it. And just like, as video games, the Super Mario games are almost flawless, but I'll say there's nothing to me that has topped Super Mario 64, and I don't know why. Why is it they can't just, I would almost rather see them remake Super Mario 64 in 4K. Why can't they do that? So, and at every level that you could criticize a game, technology, gameplay, music, characters. The other thing I love about Super Mario 64, there's no like training level. You begin the game. The best video games teach you as you go. There's not like, I'm sick of these games. It's just like, okay, and now train, and then you can begin playing the game. You know what? If you design the game well enough, level 1 is training. And that game does such a good job of guiding you without telling you, it's just, Super Mario 64 is a 100% perfect game. It just is. And Nintendo, when it comes to quality, they release fewer games on their proprietary platform. However, I'll say they're much higher quality than a lot of the first, sort of the proprietary platform, the proprietary game for their system. Theirs are just great. You have to own whatever the latest Nintendo system is, to be able to play those games, and they are absolutely worth it. So, and look, I'll admit, I'm a casual gamer. I don't game all the time, but when I get into a game like Super Mario 64, finished it. Cyberpunk 2077, finished it. All the Left 4 Dead games, I finished them. Like, I real specific kind of games I like, and then a lot of games I'm just like, I'm going to play this casually, not super into it. But Super Mario 64 is just a fantastic experience. This movie was a letdown for me on several levels. One, I think the story and even the storytelling, it's for children. This is for, and not just children, a specific stage of life of kids. It is single digit aged kids. So 10 and below. And I think and now I'm not telling you that this film will not be a colossal success. I still believe it's going to be number one at the box office. It's going to beat everything. Number one global this weekend. It's going to be huge. However, the parents buy the tickets. And this movie, for me, did not work on the other level I was looking for, which is an adult level. You know, I want to be engaged in the story and the journey of Mario as a character. You meet Mario at the beginning of the movie, and he literally has a plumbing business with his brother, Luigi. They left their former boss, created their own service, their plumbing service. They ran an ad on TV, and they are plumbers, and you see them go on a job and kind of screw up the job, and it's goofy and whatever, but it really is. This is specifically targeting children, and it's filled with a ton of Easter eggs. I actually like this Easter egg comes very early in the movie, which is you see an arcade machine in the background that is integral to the origins of Mario as a character. That's all I'll say. And there's a lot of Easter eggs. An Easter egg is not enough for a movie. I need a story that I can be engaged in. I need characters that I can relate to and be engaged in their journey. They don't need to look like me. I'm not a plumber. I don't wear a hat like Mario. I don't wear a red hat. I'm surprised already that there's already been some crazy articles about sort of looking at this movie through a feminist lens, and why, for example, they're criticizing Princess Peach and trying to put some Bowser is an abuser because he wants to marry Princess Peach. So, but everything is so, there's no layers to this. It's just one level the whole time. I think a lot of this is an Illumination. Look, I've liked the Minions movies. I think they're fun. I think that last Minions movie was a lot of fun. It works on several levels. It works on levels it works on a level for adults, and it works on a level that little kids will like it. And I think that's important for a movie. When you look at most of the best Pixar movies work on all levels for all audiences. And I'm not telling you that this is a bad movie. It's just not a movie for me. It's a movie for children. And not even like what the Pixar movies do really well is they're good at being a movie for the kid in you, people who are kids at heart. And even that, I found it frustrating. I found the jokes to be very sort of low-hanging fruit, very base. There's a joke where Bowser's like, "I'll come out of my shell." I think the only person who did a great voice acting was Jack Black as Bowser. I thought Jack Black as Bowser was excellent. Chris Pratt is fine. Charlie Day is fine. Worst among them to me is Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. And also, by the way, I finished all I at least the first Donkey Kong game, and there were a couple others. I finished all of those when they were out for the SNES. It was so cool because it was like this cool 3D looking. It was still a side scroll or whatever, but it was rendered in 3D and then made 2D. Not to get too specific, I did work on a video game magazine in the 90s. It was when I was doing Film Threat. It was like the job that actually paid, as opposed to Film Threat really didn't make much money on at the time in the 90s. But in the 90s, I was doing a video game magazine, so I was very familiar with a lot of this, a lot of this stuff. And I love the Donkey Kong games, just the sound design, everything, just the rendering, the world, right? And so you enter Donkey Kong's world, you know, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is just awful. He's a stoner. It's stoner Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he does the laugh, of
we've seen
course.
it before. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
And I just don't like, maybe it's also because Seth Rogen is like, does he have to be in everything? Like, he's doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's in this. And I'm like, I don't even think I knew going in that it was Seth Rogen. And I found it incredibly, I just didn't like his performance. I just didn't like it. It didn't match Donkey Kong. He didn't attempt to act whatsoever. And it's been reported that he's just like, hey, you're hiring me. I'm just going to do my voice. And he seems a nice enough guy.
Right.
I like
but he played him like a teenager, like this kind of semi-jock teenager.
I guess.
And that's not Donkey Kong.
It's not Donkey Kong. It's not the voice that I had in my head when I was playing the games. So look, and I caught some of the Easter eggs. I can't say I caught them all, but Easter eggs and member berries and stuff like that, it's not enough for a movie. It's not enough. So I hate to say this, I probably scored a 5 out of 10 and basically just say this movie's not for me. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the worst movie ever made, but this movie wasn't made for me. I needed more world building, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, I will say, you know, when my daughter was younger, you know, this was probably the movie I would take her to. And you know, I had to sit through these damn movies.
Right.
What was it, Kung Fu Panda? I kind of like Kung Fu Panda, but Trolls, oh God, the Emoji Movie. I mean, you know, that's this audience. And you just beg for these movies. You know, I get you're entertaining the kids, but yeah, throw the adults a bone once in a while.
Well, I will say this. I don't think there's anything particularly woke about it, except for one thing that I know is going to frustrate people. Princess Peach can kick ass. Why is it they always she's got a staff that she fights with. She's not in a dress. She's got this sort of like outfit. And then it devolves into kind of a reference to Frozen, overtly referencing Frozen, where Princess Peach effectively gets the same powers as Elsa of throwing frozen balls, and she's in a blue outfit. I'm looking going like, did she just fully frozen out? Like, are they just stealing that? And like, it's not great. And then, of course, she shows Mario. This is early in the movie. She shows Mario like this little training area, and Mario has to go through it. And you know, Mario's like, oh, that was really tough. I bet you finished it the first time. And she's like, no, I didn't. Actually, yes, I did. I did it the first time. Like, wait, why? It's just a lot of it is, I think the thing that didn't work for me is the world building. What is this world? Like, what's weird is there's the real world, and then they go it's almost like a Wizard of Oz type thing. So the first little chunk of the movie is they're in the real world, which is New York City, right? And they're plumbers, and they're in New York, and you meet their family. And it's like, okay, this is weird. We've never seen this. Like, you know, okay, they running a TV commercial, fine. And it's like they go to fix someone's house, and of course they screw it up in kind of Three Stooges fashion. There's a really great Three Stooges short film of them as plumbers. There might be more than one, actually, with them as plumbers. I love the Three Stooges. Shout out to the Three Stooges there. But it's then suddenly they go down this drain and they're in a fantasy world that exists where and why. And it's sort of like
how the drains connect to the earth and to, you know. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's just it's the laziness that a lot of these companies do with these IPs is they just assume you play the game so much that we don't have to build a world, right? You know, and no, you do, because that just shows that you know the series, you know the game, you know the stories behind the games, and they're just not able to do that. They just, again, there's a pipe. Why is the pipe there? Why is it connected to Earth? I get maybe we're being a little nitpicky here, but
Right.
you got to give us some touch points with this world that allows us to relate to it. And again, this happened with Dungeons and Dragons to me. It happened to the big one we saw before that. These movies are just blurring together right now.
What do you mean they're blurring together? What do you mean they're blurring?
Blurring.
Maybe you go to the movies too much.
Yeah.
You need a palette. You know what? It's like a lot of these big mainstream movies, if that's all you watch, I kind of feel like they can be kind of a little deadening. And then you see something like Ben Affleck's Air, and I renew my faith in film. And then next week, Beau is Afraid is coming out. Beau is Afraid is coming out next week, which I think is going to be great. I can't wait. I think that everyone will hate it, and I'm probably going to enjoy it. So there you are. But I think the bottom line for me is this is a 5 out of 10, and it's going to make a ton of money, and we will see second weekend how it's going to do. I actually, I just think that they made a mistake by really not world building more, just stronger world building. And then secondly, also, have some appeal for adults. I mean, the one thing you could say is, well, the Easter eggs, those are for adults because the kids are not going to get all of that. I mean, I will say probably the best sequence in the whole movie was the Mario Kart when they all get their carts and they have to race. That I like.
But
that.
even that went too fast and it kind of got ruined midway through.
True.
And we'll talk about that on Friday.
Yeah, we'll actually revisit. We're going to revisit Super Mario Brothers on Friday. We're going to have a discussion of video game and video game influenced movies. We're going to review Tetris on Friday, and we'll do a spoiler review of Super Mario after you all have seen it. We're keeping it spoiler free for now. But it's a 5 out of 10 for me, and I wanted to like it a lot more.
Yeah. This movie, box office wise, it'll make a lot of money because kids movies make a lot of money. And there's no competition for it right now because you're not going to take your kids to see anything else.
Here's the one thing I've learned about myself in like reviewing films and all that is there's no correlation between I love a movie, this is a 10 out of 10, and box office.
Yeah.
Or there's no correlation. A movie can be a terrible movie and I despise it and it makes a ton of money. Conversely, I can see a movie I think is the greatest thing in the world and it makes 2 cents. So and that's why I really love that Rotten Tomatoes still can't bring it up. It's I don't know if it's getting slammed.
But it was at 55%. That's kind of where I saw it last. And it's smartly this is spring break season right now. Like my kid's on spring break. So it's in theaters right now. It's running like crazy. The theaters are packed. Depending on when you have spring break, they'll still be there. So it is going to make a lot of money, believe me. And it's not, I think the curse is, you'll be mildly bored watching it as an adult, but I think it's there for kids.
I think, and it's 90 minutes, at least it's 90 minutes. So it's short. So there you have it. Let's go to your chat comments and questions. We have a lot of you in the chat with comments and questions. Jose, just finished the Mario movie. It was good. You kind of exaggerate on the girl power. It wasn't that bad. Mario is like Steve Rogers in the first Avenger, though. Fair enough. That's fair. I just think that the girl power didn't bug me as much. That's why I said this movie, you can't really argue that it's been infected by sort of woke agenda. I really don't see much agenda in this. I just think that you're seeing Princess Peach do things. I don't think that, at least as I recall, I don't think she ever did those things in the video games. And it is kind of a ripoff of Frozen, but whatever.
And if this movie was woke, you wouldn't have that Bowser Princess Peach storyline of wanting to get married.
And it's filled with some good moments. Jack Black, when Bowser's like singing songs, is funny. That's when you can really tell it's Jack Black too, when he's singing. Spaceman, none of us have any idea what Alan thinks, Chris. That's why we love him. Love you, Alan.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, do you know who starred that comment for me to read? Alan.
That would be me, yes.
Why don't you start things that have nice things to say about me, Alan? You never do that.
Wait till you see. Yeah. Keep going down. Keep going down. You'll see it.
All right, fine. Solomon Thornton says, I played Super Mario and Super Mario Party and Mario Kart on my Nintendo DS, played Mario Galaxy on the Wii. That plumber has been a part of my childhood. Well, Solomon Thornton, I can't wait to hear what you think. Please, everyone, come back on Friday, and I want to get, more from people who've actually seen it, and then we can delve into spoilers. John Mantling, Super Mario Brothers 3 for the NES is a bona fide classic. My easy favorite Mario game. I didn't love those as much, the side scrollers. I remember, oh my God, was it the Batman Returns game? There was a Batman Returns game for the NES or Sega Genesis. I had them both.
I owned an N64 for a while, and I was all about Donkey Kong Country.
And now, you know what I do? You know what I do now? I watch videos of the games just to remember the music. I'm like, I don't have that game. One that I watched, Star Control 3, I had for the 3DO. I actually love the 3DO because the sound and it sort of had I don't know. Yes, I know. Feel free to make fun of me. I like the 3DO.
So what did you think of the music in this one? Clearly it was all homages to the video game.
No, it was fun. The music was good. The music was very good. But yeah, no, those Mario games, they bring back memories. I think that's the thing that I think is going to hit a lot of people, is that this is they grew up playing Mario games, some version of a Mario game, some people Super Mario 64 or other versions. I kind of fell off because, I haven't gotten a new Nintendo system since the original Wii. And I think the thing is it's like, it became too expensive to have multiple game systems. I'm not in the industry. I am a casual gamer, but once I get into a game, like I'll finish the freaking game. I'll finish like BioShock or like, if I get into a game and I really love it, I'm going to finish it. All the Left 4 Dead games, I don't know, trying to remember. I had and I haven't had even a latest Xbox. I had like over 100,000 gamer score on that. Finished a bunch of games, but whatever. Davina Duckworth, I think the games do a better job of immersing players in the world. That I will 100% agree.
Well, that's the whole point of the game.
Exactly. Alan Horkin, a simplistic story from the studio that gave us the Minions. Yeah.
But somehow the Minions seem more complex, emotionally, storytelling wise than this.
Because the rules are very spelled out of what the Minions are, what their purpose is, how they fit in the real world. And I don't think that this movie, Super Mario Brothers, the movie, did a good job of explaining the world. It's just like, he goes off to another land. He lives in New York and Brooklyn, and then he's a plumber, but then he goes somewhere and his plumbing skills are useful in a fantasy world where there's a princess
and
a bunch
the heart of that story is he wants to be seen as someone you could take seriously. That's essentially the journey there.
It needed a little bit more. It's effectively like a Wizard of Oz story, or even Tron. Like, I got sucked into a fantasy world, and even at a certain point while I'm watching the movie, I'm like, is this real, or is this all a dream in Mario's head? He's going to wake up and there's going to be some Princess Peach is the girl down the hall that he has a crush on. And her name is, he sees on her little mail slot for her apartment, it says PP. I'm waiting for Alan to make a joke. He was not Alan.
No, I heard PP. Yes. Got it.
Lord Thoth, so typical 2023 storytelling then.
Pretty much. Shazam was the other one. It's like, what is this world? Why did I care about it?
You, me, and the movies. My daughter is a huge Mario fan. We are going later to the movie. She beat Mario Odyssey when she was 5. If she's of a certain age, she's going to love it. She is going to absolutely love it. And this is the thing, like, look, not every movie is for everybody. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. But I do think that knowing that this Mario crosses multiple generations of people, from back in the 80s to now, including arcade machines, I just like feel that it could have done a better job. But your daughter will love it, and there you go.
Yeah, mine hated it.
Spaceman, The Journey of Mario. Jesus Christ, Chris. Do you hear yourself? It is for 9-year-olds. Remember when parents took kids to the movies and just sat through them because the kids wanted to go? This is it. Fair point. I think you miss an opportunity because, let me just point this out, and Pixar's done a better job at this, better job of having a more broad appeal where it's as much for the parents as it is for the kids. And there's nothing wrong with making a movie for 9-year-olds, except 9-year-olds don't have money. They don't buy tickets. 9-year-olds don't have jobs. And I feel that I think that this movie would have done better had it actually broadened its appeal to adults who played the games when they were kids. And that would result in more repeat business for the movie. So, Spaceman, respectfully disagree, but kids are going to love this film. They're going to love it.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it. This movie's going to make a lot of money, and it doesn't matter what we think about it.
It doesn't. Who cares?
It's not. There's nothing really fundamentally wrong other than lackluster storytelling.
Yeah, it is lackluster storytelling, and I think kids deserve better. I think it could have been
absolutely.
I think it could have been better, and it will make the two opposing ideas can coexist. This movie, to me, was it fell short, and it's going to be a huge hit, and children will love it. John Manling, any critiques on the set pieces in the movie? Did it feel like you were watching Super Mario gameplay at any point? Yeah, it did. It did feel like gameplay, meaning like you are in the gameplay. Like when Mario gets to like this obstacle course, and it's like typical things you've seen in a lot of Mario games. Like when you get to that obstacle course, it's like you're in the game. You're physically in the game. But you know what did a really good job of that was Super Mario 64. I really believe I have played the other Mario games after Super Mario 64. There's something about the gameplay, the storytelling, the achievements, the leading the game, the player on a path where they learn certain skills. It is a flawless game, and I don't know. There's not a Mario game that's come out after that I've ever played that is better than Super Mario 64. There just isn't. Matthew Hammond.
In the beginning of the movie, when they're in New York, there is that side-scrolling kind of moment. When they're going through the zone. I thought that was pretty good. It was an attempt to kind of adapt real life to the side-scroller, and that was kind of the first moment. It was like, well, maybe this movie has a shot.
Yeah,
and then it didn't.
Matthew Hammond for 2 says, were they trying to tap into Frozen fans? Yes. That is a yes. Zavin, why does Donkey Kong talk at all? He should be grunting and saying, ooh, banana. Agree. Yeah. I think Donkey Kong and the sort of Kongs just should have not spoken. They should have grunted. But you kind of know what they're saying by their intonation, and it would have been better. Kind of like the Minions. No one knows what the heck the Minions are saying, and we understand them perfectly, right? Like, I love the sort of Minions speak, and they should have taken advantage of that. You're right, Zavin. JTP RX, who's a member. Hey, thank you to all our members. Remember, after the show today, we're doing a giveaway. Follow the instructions carefully to win. JTP RX says, Princess Peach must have been Jennifer Lawrence. Mo Mothman for 5. My biggest problem with the movie was Mario and Bowser had zero interaction until the end of the film. No tension between them. Oh, makes sense. Yep.
And they didn't really interact even at the end of the movie.
At the end, it's not, he's the bad guy. Why?
Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
I just wanted to fall in love. That's all.
You could have seen some like the origin of Bowser, like have some weird sort of, flashback to Bowser is a little turtle and then he gets big or something happens. He's angry, shows motivations or not even. But there you go. Solomon Thornton, Mario World needs some explanation of how their world works. Star Wars is a perfect example. They showed us worlds and then talked about different star systems. That is called silent world building. Yes. Rebel Dragon says, I'm in between if I'll see it in theaters or wait until it's on Peacock, based on it's more for kids. But at the same time, I'm used to streaming stuff, but we'll see what I'll decide. I do think that, like, I'm always in favor of just see movies with an audience.
Mhm.
I love too much popcorn. I love popcorn. I love popcorn, Alan. I walk in, I'm like, I'm not getting popcorn tonight. And then I smell it. And I'm
When
like,
has that never happened?
I gotta go get popcorn.
Yeah.
They got me.
No, you've
Addicted.
walked out in the middle of screenings to go get popcorn.
Well, I'm also going to the bathroom because
Yeah.
me and my bladder. It's Okay to Laugh says everyone needs to watch Press Pause Play documentary. They talk about the rise of mediocrity becoming the norm in media, and everything becomes gray goo. Oh wow. Where can I see? First of all, I am Googling that. Alan, we should get a review.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
What is it called? Press
Press pause play.
Press.
Oh, it came out in
Pause.
2011.
Wow. That sounds really good. 2011 film. I really want to see that. Oh, it's on Vimeo. I love it. You can watch it on Vimeo.
By the way, if you want a good documentary series on social media and the effect it has on, listen to the Witch Trials of J.K. Rowling on Apple Podcasts.
Okay, that's great. I am going to watch this. I love documentaries like that. Love it. Speaking of documentaries, Alan, I want to read your review of the William Shatner documentary on the website.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
Yeah, I really, really want to read it, only because the producer keeps texting me saying,
Okay.
"Where's the review?" I'm
Why
like,
aren't
I
they?
don't know.
They should be
Talk to
texting
Alan.
Should be talking to me. All right.
I always tell people that, like, Alan is I just try to lift out, like, Alan is the guy. He is the boss of the website. He is the boss. I mean, like, talk to Alan.
Yeah.
Matthew Hammond for 2. Do you want a longer movie and more exposition? It doesn't need to be longer. It just needs, look, Matthew, go see the movie and we'll talk. We'll talk on Friday. I want to talk with everybody. Beerosaurus Rex, minions are more complex emotionally.
Compared
Alan,
to this movie, yes. Because you had the 3 little girls, and then Gru, trying to be a surrogate father to them. That's emotional complexity. That's not in this movie.
Plumber Lives Matter, says Imperfect.
Uh,
Solomon Thornton, Mario World needs some explanation of how their world works. Star Wars 77, the original Star Wars, let's say that.
Actually, I think he posted this twice. I think that's weird.
No, this is different. Yeah. Oh no, he did. He did post it, but he kind of rephrased it.
Yeah.
Matthew Hammond is back with 2. 1 hour and a half nap sounds nice on a repeat viewing.
Yeah. No, if you have young kids, this is a great movie to take them to and nod off for a moment.
There you go. Davina Duckworth. I don't remember Donkey Kong talking much. Yeah, I don't remember in the game.
In Donkey Kong Country, he never talked.
Well, but they have like these little subtitles, so you kind of know what's.
Oh yeah.
Remember, they have like it's they don't talk like audibly, but there are like little, something will happen and then there's talking. It's just not, audible. So, yeah. Airsoft 123 says if Nintendo intended to have a broad appeal for this movie, I feel like they wouldn't have licensed the property out to Illumination out of all the studios. Lol. No, but like, look, I think Illumination's great. I think it's also a perfect match for them.
Yeah. Compared to all the others, the Illumination's right there.
Illumination, great. I think a lot of this is, I think a lot of this is, has to do with the right match. I think it has to do with also Illumination works with Universal. They have the Universal theme park deal, etc. So there you go. So yeah, let's more of your comments and questions here. Illumination was the only choice. See those exploding barrels, says Akanika. Patrick Lemire, minions are like a pack of R2D2s. Well, do you know the story behind R2D2's voice when they were doing when Ben Burtt was working with George Lucas on the sound of R2D2? They couldn't get it quite right. And it's like, well, what does R2D2 sound like? It's not just beeps and boops. It's much more complex than that. And he said that when they finally figured it out, R2D2 is a baby. So R2D2 makes sounds that are in the tone that a young baby would make or a child would make. That was the thinking behind that. Tony 42, Chris, I'm not responsible for my own website. I hired an Asian guy for that. Lol. No. And here's look, I've just learned this having managed projects. Okay. Everyone has their own areas that they are in charge of. Alan is in charge of all of the writers, and he's in charge of when those writers, how they get reviews, when reviews are scheduled. Alan chooses personally what reviews he would like to review on the site. And what I do is I empower Alan to do that, and I support Alan. So Alan is the site. Film Threat is a business. Film Threat makes movies. Film Threat does a YouTube channel. Film Threat does advertising deals. Film Threat does, I handle the business aspects of Film Threat overall as a brand. Film Threat has a merchandise shop where you can buy a t-shirt. Alan, what Film Threat t-shirt are you wearing today?
The Dune one.
Yep. There you go. It's in the Dune lettering. So all aspects of Film Threat outside the purview of the website is Alan. Now, if I feel Alan has gone astray, I talk to Alan. Film Threat is a team. And I respect Alan's authority on the site. We'll talk about, writers. This writer's like really strong in this and really good at this. And we got a writer a while back who writes reviews of Indian movies. They're in India. I'm like, we need to have more Indian cinema written about on the site. We have a writer from India on the site. You need to, in an organization with your team, people have areas in which they have control and power. I have ultimate control, but I respect Alan, and we're a team at the end of the day. I ask Alan, what do you need, Alan? What do you need? Actually, Alan, what do you need?
What do I need?
Yeah.
Need someone to extend the day beyond 24 hours.
Yeah, I know, you and me both. So yeah, we could use more members of our team. So, we have people, we divide up the responsibilities. I actually run the Instagram, but Alan, along with another writer named Bobby Lapierre, runs the Twitter. It's very much like, in order to do what we do, like, we've got a big team. So I am ultimately responsible, but people have areas of expertise. Look, I also read, like, for fun, I read books on management. I'm actually not joking. And because I can always get better at it. Just ask Alan.
Yeah, you can always get better at it.
Solomon Thornton. Look, you know what I like to I like to work with people I like. I like to work with people I like. And I like to work with people who are fun to work with. Because most of the time, Alan and I are goofing on each other or goofing on whatever. And then sometimes we have to talk serious business. But normally, we just, I don't know. You spend a lot of time with people that you work with. It's nice to be able to choose that team. And if someone isn't able to hang when it comes to Film Threat, you kind of know it early on. Usually it's someone who doesn't have a sense of humor about themselves. And if you don't have a sense of humor about yourself, you're just not going to fit in.
Yeah, that won't work here.
Solomon Thornton says, what happened to Seth Rogen? I remember the days his movies were funny. Yeah, I don't know. I used to really love Seth Rogen. I think he just got a little too political, and that's a huge turnoff for me.
There always comes a point when these actors, they reach a certain level of success, and now they kind of have to, someone phrase it as, bend the knee to the one true narrative.
Right.
And that's when you lose the ability to have fun, to explore, to test where the lines are. Clearly the comments, some of the comments I got from that news article were like, this is the most racially insensitive new April Fool's joke of the day. I'm like, well, you haven't been looking really for. I'm sure there are other ones, but no one, just the fact that people got upset over just the idea, that the people who hated the race swapping in my news article are the ones who embrace race swapping in other areas. And there's so many layers to this joke that I just love, and the way it just pissed people off.
More power to you, Alan, for laughing at your own joke. I will say this: I'm guilty of that a lot. I laugh at my own jokes. I know people hate that. Whatever.
No, I mean, I know I've been mulling over that headline for months, going, okay, when am I going to pull the trigger?
Months?
I thought of this headline, late last year, and just trying to figure out where can I put it, or where can I say it where I'm, where it would work the best.
Well, the funny thing is, you need to rush to do that joke before it actually becomes reality.
I know.
That's the thing about that joke. Okay. And a final comment here from Airsoft123. If Nintendo intended to have a broad appeal for this movie, I feel like they wouldn't have licensed it. No, I think I already read that one. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right. We're moving on. We're going to pivot. We will talk more Super Mario Brothers on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time. We'll talk spoilers. You will have seen the movie, I assume, by then, because it's out in theaters today, and we'll have a longer discussion. And we're going to talk about other video game movies like Tetris and a movie called Pinball. There's actually a movie about pinball. But let's pivot away to another topic here. You know what we're going to do? This is what we're going to do. We're going to pivot. We're going to pivot. Where's the pivot video?
Oh, come on.
We have too many videos. We have too many. All right. The Mandalorian season 3 episode, Who Gives a Shit, is out Wednesday. I didn't stay up. I used to stay up and watch these. I used to actually stay up and it's midnight. The new Mandalorian's on. I'm going to watch it. And I was very excited. Now it's like, oh, I forgot there's a new one. I guess I should watch it. And I finished watching this just before we started our live stream today. Alan, I want to hear you're still watching it. What did you think of the latest episode?
Wow. There are two things that go in my mind with this one. This is a truly bad series. From dialogue to acting. It's just cringy to watch. And so, I don't think I can add on to any of the comments I've made in the past episodes. But I do find interesting things, and I don't know if you noticed this, but this particular episode where the Mandalorian, where I don't even know, Bo-Katan, and they refer to Pedro Pascal's character as something, and I don't even know what the name is. But they go to this planet. It becomes a Star Trek episode. They go to this planet. The planet needs help corralling its rogue droids who are turning violent, and they have to do this mystery to solve the problem. What I found interesting about this land of the run by Jack Black and Lizzo, it's a pure democracy, and everyone in this democracy voted that guns are forbidden. And so there are no guns, so they defunded the police. But in order to keep safe, they have to hire mercenaries to protect them. And I found that interesting in the sense of, I can't tell if they're serious about it, as to say, hey, this is a utopian society where guns are not necessary, or this is a commentary on why guns are necessary. And I'll bring it back to last week's episode, which ironically we were making jokes about me not knowing the Asian. And I hadn't seen the episode. When I watched it, I finally realized, I do know this Asian. But that episode was about, the planet needs help, but they're not on board with the Republic, and so they are a lower priority. And this is kind of a step toward this kind of authoritarian, hey, if you're with us and you bend your knee to us, we will help you. But if you don't, we'll just push you down the line there. And again, I don't know if this is their idea of the utopian society or if they're actually making a commentary about it. And so this is why this show puzzles me, because I don't know what it stands for. I don't know what it's going for. I don't know. It just seems like just a series of actions and a weak attempt to say something, to be maybe an episode of Star Trek, to comment about society and authoritarianism and fascism. But it just seems like it's doing a real horrible job at it, and I just don't know what to think about it. I don't know if you've thought about that while watching.
No, I've thought about that. It's just even trying to, you see the agendas now being pushed in this. Not that there weren't a bunch before, but now they're just like self-evident, that just, and it comes down to everything from the casting to, this is the Star Wars show with the Mandalorian is a guest star in his own, his own show. And it's the Star Wars show. It's the Bo-Katan show. It's the New Republic show. It's the Adventures of the New Republic. They've just sort of put in a blender all the different types of shows they wanted to make and made it into one show. On the positive side, because I want to have, on the positive side, the special effects, I think, are actually fairly good.
Oh, you mean that part where Grogu jumps out of his chair into the arms of Lizzo?
No, that was dumb. But even like the dumb, oh my God, Lizzo and Jack Black, why? They used to cast, if you look at the original Star Wars trilogy, they used to cast character actors. Character actors, like grizzled, older faces, General Dodonna, and all this, like, and now it's like, who are we friends with? Now we're casting freaking Lizzo, Jack Black, and Jimmy Kimmel's kid in these shows. It's just Disney's throwing out favors to just people they know and like.
You know what it was?
They're not taking the show seriously.
The early series, they hired British theater actors that no one ever heard of. That's why they were so good.
They were great. They had gravitas. They were in the world. Go back and watch a scene of a bunch of people sitting in a room talking. No special effects. It's Darth Vader sitting with the Grand Moff Tarkin.
I know who.
Yeah, I know who I'm thinking of. I can see his head. I can see his picture in my face.
You can see his picture in your face?
Yeah, I can see his face in my head. Oh my God. I'm flustered because I'm pissed. Because the people making the show don't take it seriously anymore. They don't take it seriously. Jesus, if I had an opportunity to do anything Star Wars, I take it seriously. Now it's just content. Fill the content beast. The content beast needs to be fed. Feed that beast. Feed that beast. Peter Cushing.
That's right.
There's a scene where Peter Cushing's sitting in a room talking to people. Go back and look at those faces. See how they talk to each other. See the seriousness with which those actors, it's an unserious world, and it sucks.
No, it is a joke world.
I'm sad.
It's what Marvel has become. It is absolutely what Marvel has become, but with worse actors.
And no one's watching it now. Okay, the sort of divert and the side quests that have nothing to do with Mandalorian, I wouldn't have a problem if the show wasn't called The Mandalorian, and it would actually not be as terrible if they just dropped all the episodes at once and you binged it. Fine, but week to week, whose show is this? Just remember what Star Wars used to be. There were and if you that's actually my test. We talked about this. Was it last week or the week before? We talked about, like, if there's a scene of just people talking and you're engaged and it's like, it's good. And then the special effects, and everyone points out, the TIE fighter fight when the Millennium Falcon escapes the Death Star in the first Star Wars. There's that TIE fighter fight with Luke and Han being kind of competitive. It's kind of funny, but they're being attacked, so it's serious, whatever. Like, okay, everyone remembers that scene, but there's other scenes where people just talk in a room and it's serious. There's a scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Luke what the Force is. You needed no special effects to explain to you what the Force was. It was Alec Guinness's acting. And we have unserious people making this. We're now casting fucking Lizzo and Jack Black because it doesn't matter anymore. You got Jimmy Kimmel's kid in the first episode. Is it the first episode? Plays that kid who's the Mandalorian. I knew it. I'm like, it's a terrible actor. It's got to be somebody's kid. It was freaking Jimmy Kimmel's kid. Nobody cares about this shit anymore. The people working on it don't give a shit anymore. It's a paycheck. And this is what happens with every franchise that gets gobbled up by a big corporation. This is what happens. It's garbage. It's an insult. It's embarrassing. It's a zombie version of what it was. Star Wars is long dead. Star Wars died after Kenobi. We're just watching its corpse being exploited. And it sickens me as someone in a room where I've got a bunch of Star Wars stuff here. To my left, huge rack. It's all old stuff for the most part. Except I got a little BB-8 sippy cup. You know what? You know what I've used that BB-8 sippy cup for? I'm going to show it to you. You know what this is? Makes a great flask. You can take this. You can use it as a flask. I have done this. I've been at a convention, and there has been margarita inside this thing. So there you go. On my shelf. All right, we have a special guest coming on in about 20 minutes or so.
You okay?
No, I'm pissed off, obviously. I am upset that the people doing this don't take it as seriously as the fans do, and that if you don't like it, you're a bad person as a fan.
I know. It saddens me that Andor is the best series of the entire Disney Plus Star Wars universe. It's a good series, but it shouldn't be. It's a minor story. It's a B-level story from what should be a grander story being told, and it's the best one. And it's the feeling I got after watching this episode is it just feels like they're trying to piece together. They're trying to piece together the broken pieces of a broken universe, and it feels like it's a fool's errand, that whatever they're trying to do is not working, and they just need to stop. Stop, reset, take a breath, reset, and get some people who have some real ideas when it comes to Star Wars. All right, I believe Chris is a victim of his one kidney at the moment. Let's see, JPTRX. Jack Black was good in the 2 Jumanji movies. Yeah, quite frankly, I didn't have a problem with Jack Black. But again, it was, they're turning the Star Wars universe into the Marvel universe, where everything's a joke, where everything, and because it's a joke, we can't take it seriously. And because we can only take half of the Mandalorian seriously, the serious stuff regarding the Mandalorian has just got its knees knocked out from them. Star Wars on Trial, yeah, that's coming up in a few weeks. I'm sure Chris will talk about that soon. Andor was a dead cat bounce. Yeah, let's see. Echo 3. Andor is distinctly not Star Wars. It may be well written, but it's not Star Wars. And that's my point. Is it takes place during that time where the Force is not around, and it's telling a story about the coming of the Empire, which essentially is what the Mandalorian is right now. It's telling the exact same story that Andor has been telling, but telling it much worse than Andor did.
I'm sorry. First of all, I did have to I had to take a bathroom break, and I grabbed some water. So,
all right.
Yeah.
You feel better? Yeah.
I do feel better. I do feel better. Good. Well, I just needed to get some water. I needed some water, and I did have to take a quick bathroom break. We have a special guest. we had a special guest coming up, so I got to get my composure here. So there you go. God, the comments are on fire. I'll read the comments, Alan, but could you some of the good comments. Let's get to those. Epic Mike is here. Epic Mike. I watch you on Tuesday night's main event, sir. You're very good. I'm not sure about these constant changing of your hair. I was so used to the Epic Mike had a beyond epic fro. Now he's trying things out. I don't know. Maybe maybe you're going through something. I don't know what's going on. But love your hair, whatever you decide to do with it. Stunt Brat 777 Smith says, Alan, good comments, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
C969, oh God almighty, what the hell happened to John? Because of the behind the scenes issues, is he doing this to get out of his contract? The best part was Lloyd playing the judge from Roger Rabbit.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
he looked old.
And they kind of wasted him too. It was like
they did waste him.
Not a well-developed mystery.
No, it was not it was like so. Oh God.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we'll meet this guy, then we'll go underground, meet the Ugnaughts, then we'll come back up and solve it all. And there you go. That's
real quick aside here, because we have a super chat from I Am Bored for 5. Says, thoughts on the new Barbie trailer, severely underwhelmed. Are movie trailers just bad now, or is it just me? And live action Mario is still the best. Fair points on all of those. I thought the new Barbie trailer looked weird, and it made me want to see it. I thought this is the weirdest thing. Is it like some Truman Show type thing where she's trapped in a world? I got to think that if Greta Gerwig is directing this, and Greta Gerwig, who came from like this mumblecore, she began as an actress, became I believe a wildly talented director. I think she's very good. She's not just going to make some surface level BS movie. I think what you're seeing is this is the surface. You're not seeing what the real movie is.
You're seeing the fluff. You're
seeing the fluff. This is not what the real movie is. I expect there's some sort of weird Truman Show thing where Barbie is going to go through some existential crisis. And I think it's going to be, I actually expect, because I have faith in Greta Gerwig, there was that teaser that was kind of right out of 2001, A Space Odyssey. I thought that was very clever. I want to see this movie. Now, does it look weird? Yes. Do I like weird movies? How long have you been watching me? You already know the answer to that question. I love things that are weird. I just saw a movie called Eruptio that is the weirdest, most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and I love it. Give me more weird and original. And let's get, these franchises are dead. To me, a sure way to kill a franchise is to allow a corporation to run it. And not a person. There's not a person running Star Wars right now. It's a corporation. Whatever you think of Kathleen Kennedy, she has been involved with some very talented filmmakers, some very talented filmmakers in the past. I don't know that she has a creative bone in her body. Based on what I have seen. I can only judge based on what I've seen. Davina,
by the way, let me just add, I don't know if you noticed, but they just slipped in Noah Baumbach's name into the writing credit for Barbie.
Good. I like Noah Baumbach. He made a movie called The Squid and the Whale. You should see that movie. It's Jesse Eisenberg is in that film. It's about a family being torn apart by divorce, and it's how it affects the two kids in the family. One a little older, one a little younger, and it's a very good family drama that is just very good. Noah Baumbach, I happen to like him as a filmmaker. So there you go. Thank you, I Am Bored, for your support. Davina Duckworth, part of the problem with Star Wars is the constant recycling. Yeah, there's very little that's new. There's very little that's new. Rida Ibn Muhammad, who's a member. Thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who's a member, including Davina Duckworth. Prior to episode 6, I was in denial. After episode 6, heart is broken. Mm-hmm. Can't ignore all the disjointed writing anymore. Favreau has lost the plot. Yep. Disney killed Star Wars. Well, why do you think Critics Court starts about a week after a week after The Mandalorian ends. John Mewald, Lucas was using the old Hammer horror actors Peter Cushing and then Christopher Lee in the prequels. It is too bad Vincent Price died before he could make an appearance. He would have been great. Vincent Price is the Emperor. Although I actually think the guy that is the actor for the Emperor is very good. Spider Geronimo, calm down, Chris. The original trilogy, the trilogy OS Star Wars hasn't started yet. Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't trilogy like original sequel.
the
I'm going to assume that Stunt Brat 777 Smith says, Chris, laughing my butt off. All right. Well, part of this show, I hope you laugh. There are over 600 people watching live. Smack that like button, slap it, and subscribe if you are not subscribed to the channel. We're trying to get to 100,000.
Oh, wow.
Wait, did we get that slap right? Did we get that slap right? Not sure if we did. You know what's actually better? You know what's better than The Mandalorian? Picard Season 3.
Mr. Stewart, what did you think of The Mandalorian?
Well, there you go. Patrick Stewart doesn't even like The Mandalorian at this point.
You can bank on that. You can quote him on that.
You can quote Patrick Stewart, who was just on the show just now. Patrick Lemire says, no one cares on either side of the camera and screen. It feels that way. You know what it feels like? There's not a lot. It feels like they're having a lot of fun. Like going on a set for a Star Wars movie, there's a gift bag. You're getting an action figure of yourself. Everyone's having fun. It's a blast. You're doing it in the volume, so it's like climate controlled. You're not like off in the actual desert. I went to the desert where they filmed a bunch of the scenes. It's in Death Valley. I went to the actual valley where, you know, when the Jawas, they blast R2-D2 and he falls over. That's in Death Valley. They shot a bunch in Tunisia, where the Skywalker homestead is on Tatooine, but then they did some reshoots and other additional shooting in Death Valley. I went to that place. There's an overlook. It's where like you see Mos Eisley. That's a real place in Death Valley. You can find it. It's a national park. It's amazing. I went there. I took photos. Maybe I'll post some of the photos I did post them, but it was like years ago. I'm talking like 2014. I went to Death Valley. Want to know one of the weirdest things about going to Death Valley was? I'm in Death Valley where they shot the scene with the Jawas and R2-D2, and we're kind of doing a tour with my friend, and I'm like, why does it feel so weird? What's weird? What is different about this? I've been to deserts before. I don't remember it being like this. You know what was weird, Alan? There was no sound. Meaning there was no sound. There's just like, you know, you normally hear birds or you hear like wildlife. There was nothing. There was nothing. And it felt very, very weird. Very weird. We're going to get through more of these comments before our special guest arrives. We got about 10 minutes before our guest is here. But I'm going to get to as many of your comments as I can. But yeah, Death Valley, if you can ever go visit, it's a national park. It's beautiful, but it's bizarre. There you go. Mo Mothman says Star Wars didn't die. It was murdered by The Force Awakens. Davina Duckworth says Chris needs a towel. Rachel Black says Gore Rants. This is, you know what this is? This is absolutely a Gore rant. This is 100% a Gore rant. A freaking IKEA chair. Let's keep going with your comments here. Shucksy says, I saw Chris in the prequel Strike Back. I know how passionate of a Star Wars fan he is. I strongly recommend that movie. It was a crowdfunded film made by a very passionate young filmmaker from Texas. Really, really heartfelt doc. And it changed my mind about a bunch of things about the prequels from a certain point of view. Imperfect says, no stakes. I can't be bothered to care. Thomas says, Lizzo with a throw up emoji. Christopher Dominguez says, I understand your frustrations, Chris. Kimberly Moore says, why did Lizzo start feeding Grogu like a pet cat? I don't know. I don't know. Lord Thoth, Star Wars, Jedi, Scoundrels, Empire, Darkness, Despair, Hope. That is Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Patrick Lemire, Jack Black is like cosplaying Jack Black. Take it down a notch. Well, he is one of those actors. This is what's distracting about that. Rather than hiring like a actor who's done Shakespeare, and because a lot of those like actors, that were in London, I mean, basically George Lucas was hiring locals. He was just hiring local actors who all did like Shakespeare and whatnot, but they had some gravitas. The problem is you hire Jack Black, he's just pretty much Jack Black.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing is, Lizzo, everyone's talking about Lizzo being in this episode. No one's talking about what Lizzo did in this episode.
Because her character could have had some weight.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just hire someone that no one's ever heard of or seen. And I kind of feel like these castings now they're just ruining the show.
Yeah.
That
opening moment when I guess you had the two aliens, the calamari and the other one.
Calamari.
Yeah, the kid, and they kind of he runs on the deck, says I love you, and this was weird. Really bad. This is really bad romance writing. She's sacrificing her love for her love's safety.
Yeah.
And and it's just written so basic, and just I mean, it's like I could write that, and that's saying a lot.
All right, let's continue here. Brock Samsonite says the Mandalorian is about Grogu. He's the title character. That's why the first 2 episodes are his foundling story. Mo Mothman says, I met Greta Gerwig at an indie film festival a long time ago. She seemed nice. I think she's also nice and very smart. And her acting work is great. I'm so glad to see her transition to directing. And I think she is one of the female voices that I think is really worth paying attention to. Kate J says, I've always wanted there to be a Barbie movie made ever since I was a little girl. I don't have high expectations as I would have had 5 years ago for this kind of movie. What I like about Greta Gerwig being the director of this is she is not, what you're seeing in the trailers is that's the dumb part of the movie. That's the movie that Mattel wants her to make, right? I believe that because Greta Gerwig is involved, it's going to go to much deeper layers about what Barbie represents, what it represents to young girls, how they see themselves in Barbie, and what that symbol means. And you can love Barbie, you can dislike Barbie. My daughter did not like Barbies. In fact, because it is a cliche thing, right? Like my daughter, what do? You buy her a Barbie. So everyone in the family, is getting Barbies for Christmas. She didn't like Barbie. She would rip the heads off. You know what she liked? My daughter loves Godzilla. She loved Godzilla movies. She loved dinosaurs. She loved Jurassic Park. Anything dinosaurs, Godzilla, she loved it. She was not a typical young girl, and that's cool. I think it's cool. And you can be into Barbie. You can be into Barbie and dinosaurs, whatever you want to be into as a kid. There you go. And thank you, Kate J, for your comment. Anonymous says, what was the best art or indie film to come out this year so far for Alan and Chris? Some film that not a lot of people saw, but you guys think was worth seeing. I'm going to say Abruptio. You have not seen it yet. It's playing some festivals coming up. Abruptio. There is a 1-minute trailer that the trailer's not very good. It's 1 minute. It's just sort of a tease. But this 1-minute trailer gives you just a little tease of what it is. A little tease of what it is. Hopefully our Alex is going to be joining us any minute now because we're transitioning. He was here and then he disappeared. Sam, maybe you can scare up Alex for us. Brock Samsonite on our final comment here, because Knights of the Old Republic hinted that there was an ancient war between Yoda's species and the Mandalorians, and that the Mandos wiped Yoda's species out. Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
Is that in the video game or is
There
that
you go.
something?
So cool. All right. Well, Alex is going to be here in just a few minutes. I was hoping to start a little bit early, but that's okay because you know what we can do?
Oh, by the way.
Mando blows. Hey, Gary, how's the dentist? Wait, I didn't know if Gary wanted to keep that a secret piece of information. Sorry, Gary. I shouldn't.
No, you have to ask him, how is this interview with Russell Crowe?
Yeah, did you get your interview with Russell Crowe? Frickin' Drinker got this interview with Russell Crowe. Hello, Gary from Nerdrotic. I missed doing the show with you today. So yeah, Russell Crowe does an interview on The Drinker. Who made the connect between my buddy Jeff Katz and Drinker? That was me, baby.
Oh, we got 5 minutes. By the way.
Where's my Russell Crowe interview? Thank you, Gary. Can't wait to see you in Vegas.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you in Vegas.
So yeah, Alex will be in 5 minutes.
It's cool.
Okay.
Well, real quick, guess what? Guess what, folks? Attack of the Dock tickets are on sale. Go to thefridacinema.org, or you can see the link in the description of this episode. There are tickets still available for 2 screenings. There's an 8 o'clock. I think the 8 o'clock is close to selling out from what they have told me. The 10 o'clock tickets are readily available. There will be Q&As. There will be, wait, what am I doing here? It's not what I wanted to do. There will be Q&As for each of those screenings. Where did my thing go? Here we go. There'll be Q&As at both screenings. Alan will be there for the Q&A. He'll be conducting the Q&A, 8 o'clock, 10:15 on Friday, April 21st. This is my documentary about Attack of the Show and G4 TV. There will be a trailer dropped on Monday. That's right. Monday, a trailer for this movie. It's the official trailer for the movie will drop. It's going to be everywhere. It may premiere over the weekend as an exclusive. If we can't work that out, it's just coming out on Monday. You will hear me. You'll hear me talk about it. So definitely check out Attack of the Dock. You'll be able to get it on April 24th, which is the 21st anniversary of G4 TV. That's when the documentary is coming out, and I'm starting to settle in on some other projects that I'd like to do. It's going to be very interesting. Some very interesting other projects that I would like to do here. But I would really like to see you in person. We're going to be doing a giveaway of a poster. It's an alternate poster for what this is the official poster you're looking at. Actually, if you zoom in, that's the official poster for the movie. But we did an alternate poster that we're going to print just 500 copies of that we're going to give away at the event. And that's it. It will be a collectible poster, and that's for anybody that buys a ticket. There's going to be a lot of Kickstarter backers. They're going to be there. I'm doing an update later this week. So check that out. Go to thefridacinema.org, link in the description. Hope to see you there. Alan, are you excited about the Q&A?
I am. I'm absolutely thrilled. Out of my mind thrilled.
I appreciate that. Alan, we've got almost 600 people watching us live. A couple of things. We also recently passed 69,000 subscribers. To celebrate, some of you have contributed some fun videos, and I don't know. Is 69 still popular or not as a number?
69. 69. 69. 69. 96. Let's go. $69.
The classics.
Well, we are trying to get to 100,000. Wait, some comments here, more comments before we get to our special guest. It's okay. I went to the dentist. Steve Martin was a dick. That's great. And then Gary goes on to say, so Mr. Crow, what was it like playing a Greek deli owner in Thor? Oh, man. Anonymous says, I haven't bought any movies in a while, but I think I will get the Blu-ray for Attack of the Dock. I'm just looking at, you have no idea the passion and love that's going into this Blu-ray. It's literally going to be the mic drop. on this movie. Johnny G for 5 says, "Oh, she had weight, all right. Come on, folks." And Brock Samsonite says, "Oh no, we got that one." So there you go. All right, let's pivot. We have a special guest here today. We're very excited to have on the show the director of Acidman, which is a science fiction drama starring Thomas Hayden Church. He is a UFO enthusiast. And things get a little bit mysterious in a cabin in the woods. Alex is here joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. Alex, how you doing today? Good to see you, sir.
Well, thanks. Good to see you.
Awesome. Tell us what, first of all, you could not have released this movie at a better time.
Well, it's the balloons that I've been releasing out into the world these last couple of months that I released at the right time.
I feel like it's the mainstream news is doing the promotion for you, which is awesome. But tell us what led to this project. I think interest in, I've always loved UFO stuff from when I was a kid. I read Chariots of the Gods and loved just theories about UFOs. Is it aliens? What are they? What led to doing this movie? And do you have a passion for UFOs yourself? And Philadelphia Eagles, dude, love that. Love that. Eagles fan. So there you go.
Okay, that could have gone one of two ways. As soon as
No.
Okay.
I was rooting for them in the Super Bowl. But
Right on.
tell us about what led to making Acidman.
Yeah, definitely, Close Encounters, E.T., those are movies I grew up on. I would love to make my E.T. I think I just made my Close Encounters. Like this is, and I think some reviewers and a lot of fans have kind of caught on to the fact that this was the two-hander indie cousin to Close Encounters. But I can't say that I'm like a total UFO believer. I'm certainly not anti. It's not. I'm definitely open to them existing. I want them to exist, right? Even if I'm a skeptical person at times, I'd say first of all, this movie is an experience. Has been a practice for me to try to be less skeptical and more open-minded to what else could be out there in relationships and in the universe. And man, life just sounds a lot more exciting if there are UFOs. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I love it. I think that because everyone has a phone on a camera phone with them at all times, like that's led to more and more UFOs. I think that some of it is some things that are naturally occurring. I love the movie Nope last summer because it was a different take. I like that it was sort of a bait and switch with the trailer. It's aliens. It actually wasn't. It was a sky jaws basically.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. So I love the theories, but I gotta think that our US government knows a lot more than they're saying.
I think so. There's too many credible people who have had great stories, but given the option, life seems a lot more boring if there aren't UFOs. So let's just say I think there are, and we haven't maybe found the all the proof we need, but I would give credit to those UFOs that probably they also aren't just going to hand over that proof. So I'm in for the fun ride in life. Let's be open-minded on all this stuff.
And Thomas Hayden Church, I've always loved him as an actor, mainly because he can play comedy, just straight up, broad comedy. He can also be very serious.
He's stoic. The best thing about Thomas, and working with him, sometimes I'd give him both in the film and when the cameras aren't rolling, he'll just kind of hit this this pause, and you don't know if he's about to crack a joke or punch you in the teeth. You don't know. You just see anything is possible in the next moment with Thompson. I think that's what makes him one of the things that makes him so watchable is you're like, what is this guy going to do next? And I hope he makes me laugh, but if he punches me in the teeth, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, he's just so watchable as an actor, and he's just very different. Even in the Spider-Man movies, I thought his character had some pathos.
For sure.
It was very good. So it was great to see him turn up in that last movie.
Let me ask you about his counterpart with Diana Agron. I know her obviously from Glee, but
sure.
I don't think what most people know is she's been appearing in a lot of indie films. what was it like getting her, and what was it about her that would made her perfect for this role?
Well, she'd reached out to me, and you know, through her reps, like she wanted to work with me on something, and I was kind of trying to find the right project. But she'd made it very clear that she was taking her own career in, you know, in her own control. She's like, I've done enough Glee, and it's time to, you know, flex some other muscles. And I'm known for these indie two-handers with a lot of improv, dramatic improv, and I think it allows actors to kind of flex. Also, the other films that I'd done at that point, you know, Sarah Paulson in Blue Jay, she'd never gotten really to like play the girl next door, which is so absurd to say, but she was doing American Horror Story at the time. She's like a two-headed monster. And then Ray Romano wasn't really doing a bunch of drama yet when we cast him in Paddleton. So I think Diana knew me as the kind of filmmaker that likes to take chances with actors when it's obvious that they've got that talent, and to just give them like as much open space as possible to flex. And the trade-off is I get to work with these amazing actors because they're showing up for something new. So Diana definitely trusted me on this one, and I felt really lucky to have her on.
We've got a lot of comments and questions from people in the chat. Do you mind? We've got like 500 people watching live.
Amazing.
So let's
high five, nice to meet you.
So let's get some of these comments going. It says Solomon Thornton says Sir Alex in the house. And
now I got a big head. Way to go.
And then Ms. Pico Coffee, thank you, Ms. Pico Coffee, our moderator in the chat, says the review for Acidman is here. Got a good review on the Film Threat website. Solomon Thornton says X-Files made me believe. Imperfect says something is out there. And then Solomon Thornton goes on to ask, how did you budget your film?
That's a great question. So we shot it during the pandemic, and I thought I was going to make this very modestly for, you know, $1 million, and thinking like, this is unheard of. We're going to put, you know, with like these actors. And then we ended up having to even scale back more. I budgeted it a few times, and it just kind of turned into, you know what, this is what it is. I always think you need an anchor as far as like what is the main thing that you can build a movie off of logistically. And it wasn't until we found these like CBD, these hemp farms in Oregon that happened to, like, you know, they had like, one was the perfect exterior for the house, the other was the interior, and like these guys were cousins, and their dogs were in our movie. I was just like, this place has everything. There was a diner down the street, and we realized like, oh, we can do this on a budget over here. So we just kind of found the location as the anchor and built everything around it. And then we had to convince, you know, Mr. Acidman, Thomas Hayden Church, to leave the house and come out to Oregon, which was, you know, he doesn't leave often. So that was fun.
Greasy Guido has a comment here. Don't worry, guys. I put on my sunglasses and can confirm Alex is not one of them.
Yeah, Guido could chew bubble gum and kick ass. Right?
There you go. And then he goes on to ask a question. I always hear Thomas Hayden Church spoken with all three names. Does he go by Tom or Tommy in real life?
Both. Yeah, both.
There you go. And let's see. Another question here from Kara asks, what is your favorite US UFO conspiracy theory?
I think that's for you guys.
No, that's the question for you. What is your favorite one? We want to hear yours.
My favorite conspiracy theory? I don't know that I'm
on UFOs.
I mean, I used to read them all as a kid, you know, all the sightings and everything. They were all fantastic. I mean, there was one that was this like really creepy account. I don't remember what it's called. I read it as a kid, but like this person kept drawing these aliens, and like the significant thing about them is like they didn't have lips, and there was something like terrifying to me about these aliens that didn't have lips, and I had like nightmares for years, but it was also like really cool. So I don't know, whatever that was. Yeah.
The Nerd Far Away asks, hello, Alex. Do you think UFOs fit into the idea of intelligent design?
I don't know what intelligent design is. You're going to have to help me out on that.
Oh, that's like, you know, God, basically.
Like a scientific approach to God, or that or there is like someone, right. There have been theories related to that. That's one to look up for sure. Go down a rabbit hole.
So you knew when you made a movie like this, you're going to get these questions.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I love it. My interaction with, I mean, first of all, the footage we have in the film, we found people on YouTube who posted their real, UAP footage, and we licensed that because we thought, like, why would we create anything in VFX when people, captured these lights, and we thought that would give it more authenticity. But whatever it is that's next level, I don't think we can understand it completely, regardless. So whether it's UFOs or God or whatever it is, I'm all in for it, but I don't assume that I can understand.
Right. More comments and questions here.
What a boring answer. Sorry.
No, it's okay to laugh. As what was your inspiration for the film?
Yeah, the inspiration, I mean, the very first draft was a father-son story, and there were no UFOs. So it was crafted more from a relationship standpoint. And it wasn't until that the introduction of the UFO element that it really started to take off. And that was one where I remember, like, I had learned, I mean, everybody knows that, like, E.T. was originally a family story about a father abandoning the family. There was no alien, right? Like it's just like, it was the same thing, right? The pathos were there, but like, it didn't feel like it was about something fun and hopeful. So yeah, for me, there's a lot of that. I got a little skin in the game on the personal side with that one, but it's also, it was in the middle of the pandemic where we were finally going to make it, and obviously people disagree about a lot of things these days more than they used to. We don't have to get into too many specifics, but it's amazing how hard it is sometimes to connect with people that you like or love when you just disagree about something ideologically. And so I felt like there was this thought exercise that needed to happen, where it was like, where do you find love and connection when, like, maybe ideologies are standing in the way?
That's a great theme to explore. I think it's a great theme to explore right now,
Yeah.
especially as our country seems to become more unraveled and divided. Maynard Lloyd says they're not conspiracy theories, they're facts.
Thank you. That's why I was getting thrown off.
And Tony Bowers has a question. Where were the couple locations in Oregon? Where'd you shoot?
Well, where they shoot off the fireworks, that was the Azalea was the main town. And I think it was the Azalea Reservoir that we did it's the reservoir right by Azalea, whatever it's called. I think it was the Azalea Reservoir, where I mean, it looks awesome. It looks like Star Trek would have shot there, right? Or maybe they have shot there. Like, there were trees growing out of the water. It just looked like another planet. I was like, it wasn't scripted for a reservoir, but when I saw that place, it was like, this feels like where you come to communicate with UFOs.
Cool. And one final question here from Lubitch Touch Me asks, what's your dream project if budget isn't a factor, and who would you want to star in it?
Great question. It probably would be a version of E.T., some sort of, more like a YA adventure, but still make you laugh, make you cry kind of thing. And man, I don't know. There's way too many actors. I can't sing anybody out. No. There's so many talented people for sure. Yeah.
Well,
can I fan out for a second? You directed Asperger's R Us.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I belong to an improv troupe in San Diego, and for I think over 5 years we've been running an autism improv program.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and just especially in the eyes of the parents, of just how much it has opened up their kids to them and to life. It's something I never thought would ever happen, or that could happen. But to bring improv and autism together has just, I've seen what it can do, the miracles it can do.
Yeah, it's transformative. I mean, improv is great for anybody. I mean, obviously, I do improv even in my movies. It forces people to listen. Like, anybody that's taken even improv 101, they quickly learn what you can't do is just like ignore the other person while they're talking and like sit there and think like, what's the funniest thing I can say? Because as soon as it's your turn to talk, you don't even know what you're responding to anymore. So your thinking is non sequitur. So the only way you can improv well is by being super present and listening to people. And like, that's a great way to connect. We all could learn a little better how to listen. So we should all take improv. Forget just the autistics. We should all be taking improv classes.
Well, I want to, Alex, I want to thank you for being on our show today. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on the movie. Acidman is currently out on demand. Is that right?
Yeah, VOD, iTunes, and Amazon. Yeah, and a couple of theaters too. But
awesome.
Thank you guys.
Great.
Yeah, you're the best.
Thank you. Congrats. Come back for your next movie.
All righty.
Awesome. All right. Go Philly. Take care. Later. Bye now. That was great. What a great guy. That was awesome. I love that we get directors want to pop by and talk to us. Always good to do that. Let's do some final it's funny. Alan and I keep trying to do the same thing. We keep trying to do the same thing. So there you go. But yeah, great show today. We're going to talk to you on Friday. We are going to discuss the Super Mario Brothers movie. We're going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk video game movies like Tetris and more. What else do we have on Friday, Alan?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I saw the list. I've got a lot of movies to watch.
Top Easter movies. We're going to talk about the movie Paint, Full River Red, Acidman. It's just, we're going to basically we're going to talk Super Mario Brothers spoilers. Then we're going to talk video game movies. And then we're also going to we're just going to kind of catch up on films. I don't think we have an interview scheduled. So it's just us hanging out. How about that? And I want to thank everybody in the chat, your awesome questions, your participations. It used to be we'd have some interview on and a bunch of people would leave. Now people are sticking around. The interviews are short. You get to talk directly to an indie filmmaker, and ask them questions. I hope that you like that. Part of my not so secret agenda is to inspire you to make your own movies. So there you go. Alan, what else you got coming up?
Let's see. Just more reviews on filmthreat.com. It's going to be a busy week. And then if you're in San Diego, performing at the National Comedy Theater for the next 2 Saturdays.
When?
At 7:30.
Saturday? Okay.
This Saturday and next Saturday.
Okay, Saturday night. What time's the show?
7:30.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can't make it.
I know.
Maybe next weekend. I'm serious. Maybe next weekend.
Maybe.
Not this weekend. I got plans. I'm going to the if anybody's a Pasadena resident, I'm going to the Rose Bowl swap meet. I have not been in years and I cannot wait to go. I'm just literally going to walk to the Rose Bowl swap meet.
That feels overwhelming to me.
It's 2 miles. It's not 3 miles. It's not a big deal. It's an hour.
No,
walk.
I meant the swap meet itself.
And the swap meet, but they sell beer at the swap meet. So there you go. All right. I don't want to thank you. I want to thank our mods. I don't know if the mods want me to say their names, so I'm not going to, but shout out to the mods. Shout out to everyone who's watching us. We're building an audience now, usually getting about 600 people live. We appreciate it. And we will see you on Friday. Slap that like button. Ms. P. Coffee. Am I saying it correctly? Ms. P. Coffee, pop me an email. Let me know. All right. Slap that like button on your way out. Alan, take us out.
Let's get out of here.